guys wrote a #1 song. How long have you guys been writing together?
Probably since about, I think, 2001 or 2002, probably is more like it, right? It was after Private Malone, I remember.
Good 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
Thom, I want to ask you about that before I get into this other thing. Writing with Private Malone, where did that come from? I know you wrote that with Wood Newton, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I had that idea for a little while before I ever wrote anything on paper. I had that idea kind of in my head. And I wanted to write a song about a car. I've always been a fan of old cars. And one of the stories that I've heard over and over and over again is, you know, the guy that buys the used car and it's in a barn and it's, you know, the lady doesn't know what it's worth and the guy gets it for a steal. And one variation on that story is that, you know, it's for sale because the guy went to Vietnam and didn't come back, and it's 30 years later and his mom finally decides to sell it. Or so I had that idea. I thought that would make a cool story, but then, you know, after the guy buys the car, what happens, you know? So one day I was thinking about it, and this other story came to mind about this guy that I'd read about that bought this used car and thought it was haunted. And I thought, wow, what if it's the car that's a deal? It's a guy who's in Vietnam, and then the car is haunted too by the guy that owned it. And so that all kind of came together. And then I went on this trip home to see my dad, and we went and visited this guy I used to work for who had my first car. Still had it. It was an old station wagon. And while we were there, I said, well, let's go take a look at it. And it's not running anymore. It's just basically parked down behind his barn. So I thought, I wonder if I left anything in it. So I looked in the glove box, and my dad had his old, you know, like maintenance manuals that he'd get, little notebooks with, you know, like change the oil and the mileage and all that. And I thought, wow, what if this was a diary? Or what if this was a note that somebody had left? And I thought, oh, I could put that in a song about the guy who buys the car and the car's haunted. And so a whole lot of things came together.
And so actually Wood Newton didn't write anything.
Well, he did. Yeah. No, the funny thing was I didn't really write any of it down until he and I got together. And then we started just putting it down. And you know what's funny? Unlike other songs I've written, we just kind of wrote that like a poem almost. Like,
well, that's what
without
it
any.
Is. It's a vignette, is what it is. So it's well, here's my next question that comes in with that, and that is, it was a #1 record for you with David Ball.
Yeah.
Does it matter to you in any way, or do you think about it that it became a #1 record really on the heels of 911? And that's one of the reasons that it became, that it actually got played, which is awesome. It's a great song.
Yeah.
But without 911, it would have been...
Yeah, it might have been tough for it.
Probably would have been lost in the shuffle.
Well, I don't know. You know, the cool thing about it was it came out 3 weeks before 9/11. So we got to see how the reaction was before. I mean, post 9/11, everybody was hearing it flipping out. Everybody was on the bandwagon and going, oh, this is the perfect timing for this song. And had all these people going, I want to write a patriotic song with you. Like, well, we didn't really think we were writing a patriotic song when we wrote that, you know. But in the 3 weeks before 9/11 happened, the reaction to it at radio was unbelievable. I mean, we were talking to DJs all over the country that were telling us we played this song and our phone just did not stop ringing.
Well, it's a great song.
So,
it's just, you know, it's just that David Ball.
Yeah.
I mean, in all actuality, David Ball had not had a hit in
7 years.
several years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it was really I think 9/11 took it to a much wider audience than it might have got. But I think it would have done pretty well on its own. But 9/11, the timing of that just really took it farther than, for a little small independent label to be up there at #1, you know, competing with people like Toby Keith and people on really huge labels. It's a great thing, and it's really, as a writer, it makes me feel good to know that it's the strength of the song that really took it to where it was. I feel like it's the strength of the song that really...
It's an awesome song.
Oh, thank you.
Do you play, do you usually write words and music together?
Yeah, pretty much. That song, like I said, we kind of wrote the words first and then kind of wrapped the melody around it. And if you take that song apart and look at it, the chords don't change in the same place, and technically it's all over the map, you know, but...
Who knows?
But it doesn't matter. But you don't notice because it's the story that
And the average
You know,
person
get your
doesn't know anyway. Look at me.
You're right. Well, yeah.
Don't look at me. So enter Steve now, because I don't want him to sit there, doing nothing or anything. Yeah. And here come you guys.
Show here.
Yeah. Then I discovered Steve Williams.
Well, I know
Steve
more
Williams
about
got
Thom
his
than I
career
know
started.
about you. So I'm going to guess you guys have been friends for a long time, though, because you seem to meld together that way.
Yeah. Well, Thom and I didn't know each other back in St. Louis, but we're both from the St. Louis, Missouri area. And he's a little bit younger than I am, but like we said tonight on stage, had we known each other, we could have gotten in a lot of trouble back then.
Yeah, yeah.
But so I think growing up in the same area, we're a little bit alike in that way. We have some of the same interests, hung out in some of the same places.
Yeah.
The Mississippi River.
Yeah.
Well, did you know each other before you came here?
No, we didn't meet until
2002. So
yeah,
when we met in 2002 and started writing together, we didn't know until we started writing together that we're both from St. Louis.
And with every song we write, it's funny, like little more nuggets of information go, oh yeah, that, like the song we wrote, Miss That Mississippi. We wrote that one last year, and just more stuff spilled out. Oh yeah, we went there too.
Well, like Redneck Yacht Club.
I'm getting to it.
Nice segue, whatever. But that song he was talking about, they didn't know they wrote a patriotic song. When we wrote Redneck Yacht Club, we didn't realize that we'd written a song about every party cove across the United States. There's a part. We just thought we were just writing it about our own experiences, and out at Party Cove, and then after it became a hit, people started coming up to us and saying, "That's my song. That's us. That's what we do."
It was amazing what a chord it did strike in people.
Yeah.
Considering that, when you say redneck, it's almost derogatory in a lot of places, and then all of a sudden, everybody was a redneck.
Yeah, it's something. I think it's something everybody wants to be a part of. I was going through the line at Arby's today, and I had to pull over because they didn't have the one thing. I had to wait, and the girl come out, and I have it on the back of my truck. It says Redneck Yacht Club, and she comes to the window and she goes, "I want 2 tickets to the club. Where is it?" Can you hook me up?
Just tell her it's a state of mind. It's not really a place. It's
She seemed kind of disappointed when I told her that.
Yeah, did you ask her if the food was free first?
So, yeah. But I told this story the other night at a writer's night. When we first moved to Nashville, my wife and I lived in Laverne, lived across the street from the lake, and we could see the lake from our house. And every day she'd say, "We got to get a boat someday. One of these days we got to get a boat." And I said, "We can't afford it. We don't have enough money." And so finally we got this boat. We bought it for $3,000 and got it down from Missouri. Brought it down from Missouri, and my wife calls it a piece of poop because it broke down on us all the time, And I remember us being out there in the lake every weekend going, "Help! We're stranded over here. Come and get us!" And one day we were sitting out there and just watching all the people going by. I said, "This is like a redneck yacht club," And of course I wrote it down, tried to write all my ideas down, and then one day I was going to write like I do every day, and my wife asked me, "Who you writing with today?" And I said, "Thom Shepherd." She said, "He'd be a good one to write that Redneck Yacht Club idea with." So the rest is history.
Yeah.
I guess she's saying something about you, isn't she?
Well, I guess. Hey, that's fine.
So since then, I was out there another particular day, and there's the Water Patrol out there. They call it the TWRA, the Tennessee Wildlife. And so we're out there, and they're going by like they always do from Elm Hill Marina out to Party Cove, putting out fires or babysitting drunk people or whatever, and it just struck me. The light bulb went off, and I said, "Tennessee Wildlife, boy, that'd be a good song. It's his job. You can't blame him. He's only trying to tame that Tennessee wildlife, And I said, and I know just the guy to write it.
We went there once before and it worked, so let's go there again.
So how did you guys get that to Craig Morgan?
Oh, we know his
Redneck Yacht Club. Steve's
the reason that Redneck Yacht Club got to Craig. He told us.
I was on the road with him. I was on the road with Cherie Austin at the time, and I played in her band. She was on Broken Bow at the time with Craig.
I remember you being there.
Yeah, And so they put us on a radio tour, and they said they didn't want Craig's whole band, they didn't want Cherie's whole band. They just wanted an acoustic player and maybe someone else, you know, a couple of vocalists. So he took 2 people and she took 2, and so we just hung out on the bus, all of us, and went up and down the East Coast and up and down the West Coast. And I saw Craig and Phil O'Donnell, his producer at the time. I saw them you know, kind of rummaging around one morning, you know, drinking coffee and going back and forth inside the hotel and back on the bus, and they were trying to receive a fax for a song. And it turned out they were having trouble getting the fax to this particular song, but it was, That's What I Love About Sunday was the song. It turned out, and I didn't know it at the time, and I thought, hey, they're trying to gather songs for his new record. I said, I got my computer here, I got my CDs. I said, I'll pitch him Redneck Yacht Club, and I put 4 or 5 others on there as well. And that's the only one, I mean, he liked 2 or 3 others, but that's the one that stuck, so, you know.
Yeah, so the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's pretty amazing that that it did stick, because, you know, I think it was kind of a bold statement for Craig to make. I think he was a little nervous at first doing the redneck thing, you know. I don't know if he wanted to be known as a redneck guy, you know. But it turned out great for him. Too late now.
Yeah. The way I feel about it is, you know, you see the rappers and the guys like that. I mean, they go there. They go, hey, we're from the hood and everything. Hey, we're country.
But they don't ever come out of that.
We're rednecks, man. Come on.
Yeah.
They don't ever come out of that. You know,
right.
That's the whole thing. This is where they sit. This is where it's at. Whereas the redneck thing is a.
Well, I think the great thing about it is a lot of people can. It's like the Jeff Foxworthy things. You might be a redneck. You might be a really successful person, but if you've ever done one of those ignorant things he's talking about, you go, oh yeah, I'm a redneck kind of at heart because I've done one of those embarrassing things.
Who
you know? So anybody can be a redneck.
I'm a city kid and I've done it.
It doesn't matter. You know, our friend that's one of the guys down at the boat dock that's got the biggest boat out there, the most expensive boats out there, he's as redneck as you can get, isn't he?
Yeah, we wrote the song back in late 2003, and that was before Redneck Woman was out on the radio, and I think the only redneck songs I knew of was White Sox and Blue Ribbon Beer.
Yeah.
and
Redneck Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it'd been a long time since that sort of thing was, so we were kind of reluctant to write it.
It's funny, and they were always big hits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then when we started writing the song, we said, we don't care if anybody cuts it or not. Let's just go ahead and write it. We're having so much fun doing it. So that's how it happened.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
And now it's turned into, I mean, we realized...
It's an anthem.
Yeah, and we thought, well, you know, maybe we should make some T-shirts up that say it. And so we did that and started selling them online, and that's done pretty well. And we've now, this year, we've gone to a couple of boat shows and done that. We had a booth last year at CMA Music Festival.
It's funny, we started this whole thing with the term Redneck Yacht Club. And, you know, it's funny to see people at the boat shows. Sometimes they'll be walking by our booth and they'll see Redneck Yacht Club, and you see them checking us out. And a couple of people will stop and go, Redneck Yacht Club, huh? You ought to see the real Redneck Yacht Club out at Old Hickory Lake where we're at, you know.
Yeah, they're proud.
You know, they had no idea that we wrote the song or whatever. They just think we're out there just kind of
selling stuff.
Capitalizing on somebody's idea or whatever. You know.
That's hysterical.
Yeah.
And then there's the other people that walk by and go, Redneck Yacht Club, where's that?
Yeah.
What is it? They had never even heard it.
One old guy came by and he goes, Redneck Yacht Club. He stared at that sign for 10 minutes and he goes, those two words don't go together.
Yacht Club?
We had a lot of fun at the boat shows, though.
I can imagine, I'll have to hit the Nashville boat
we'll
show
be there
next time and see.
Yeah, they only do them in the wintertime, you know, because when it's nice out, people are out on the water.
Yeah.
All right, Tom, let's get serious.
Okay.
I don't know if your career almost came to a standstill or what, but you were diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah, I've had it twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, in 2004, I found out I had testicular cancer, and I had surgery done, and I had to have about a month's worth of radiation, and it made me feel a little rough, but I mean, you know, I still went to work every day. I still went to write songs. I had a gig down at Legends Corner during that time that I kept doing, and I did a demo session during that time. I mean, all through that time I said, I'm not going to let this slow me down. I'm just go right on through. So
that's one of the worst kinds you can have too.
Yeah, well, it's really rapid. I mean, it can really move rapidly if you don't take care of it. So I went to the doctor on like a Tuesday, and Thursday I was in having the surgery done. So I went and had radiation. They said, it's just a precaution, you know, you'd probably be fine. So did it, everything was fine. And 1 year later, went to the doctor. As a matter of fact, it was 2 days after our #1 party. So we had like the best week of, it was the best week and the worst week. It's 2 days later I went to the doctor just for my, 1 year follow-up. And they said, well, it looks like you've got it in a couple spots in your lymph nodes. So that took a little more serious treatment. I had to have chemotherapy, and that was for 9 weeks. And so yeah, it kind of took off a couple of months. And I had just signed with Sony at the time as a songwriter when it happened, and they were really nice about it. They said, hey, just get through it, come back, whenever you get over it, just come on back. So I came back, and the first thing I did when I came back, I wrote a song with Gary Hannon and Phil O'Donnell and Eddie Montgomery, and Montgomery Gentry cut it. So within 2 weeks of coming back from being gone for a few months, I had a Montgomery Gentry cut out of the blue. So I took that as a sign that I'm supposed to be doing this.
Yeah.
Did that whole experience affect your songwriting at all?
Whatever you go through
because
ends up in your songs.
You still do very like Djibouti and stuff.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, I guess it's made me write a few more songs that are maybe a little heavier, but I don't know. It just really makes me thankful, And
we wrote one day, he and I, called "Whistling Past the Graveyard."
Yeah.
And,
yeah. That's about that. Yeah.
Apropos.
Yeah, it's those songs that come from a real place. They're the ones that really matter, I think.
Yeah.
And I think if anything, going through that, what it's done is it's sort of mellowed me out a little bit. I've been in Nashville now for 15 years, and I think for the first, at least the first 10 years, I always seem to be, gotta get it done, gotta impress this person, gotta get this happening, gotta do this. And after going through cancer and stuff like that, it really kind of made me go, you know what? If I don't get it done today, we'll do it tomorrow. If this song ain't right today, we'll get it done next week. I just want it to be right.
Now he only goes out 5 nights a week,
Yeah, instead of 7. Yeah. That's right. I'm still pretty active.
But you guys still do the writers' nights. Which is
yeah, occasionally. I used to do that constantly, though. I used to go out all the time to writers' nights, 3-4 times a week, and I guess I just kind of got burned out on it. But it's sort of it's nice now to go out and do it every once in a while, and it's so nice to go do it when you've had a couple of hit songs too, that you can play.
Yeah, we're doing some Redneck Yacht Club gigs this summer too, with he and I and a band.
Yeah. And
we're doing songs off our CD, songs from the Redneck Yacht Club.
Available at iTunes.
Yeah.
You have definitely joined the internet generation.
So that's what we did tonight at On the Rocks. Songs from our CD, and it's fun to do that,
Yeah.
I mean, it's always fun to go out and play new songs that you've written and test them out, but this thing that we have is more of a party atmosphere. We do fun songs.
Yeah. It's kind of like a theme.
Yeah.
Kind of like a theme, I guess. But it is fun. We're kind of getting our stage banter down, I think.
Drinking and dialing. Yeah, a song called Drinking and Dialing. I ain't as think as you drunk I am.
Yeah.
That's got to be tough to sing.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little tongue twister.
You have to practice. But yeah, it's great. It's great. We love it. And it's always great to get it. It's just so great to have people interested in what you're creating,
Yeah. And you do a lot of stuff for the troops too. Have you also gone, Steve?
I've gone on USO tours, but I haven't gone on one with Thom.
Yeah, they're just the best. I've been on 7 tours for Armed Forces, 3 in Alaska, and then 4 overseas.
And I just found out today I'm going to Korea.
Oh,
with
good.
Cherie Austin.
Great.
In July. So.
Oh, I know somebody else who's going on that. I forgot who it is, but someone just told me.
Will Rambo's going with us, and me and Cherie Austin. So we're playing for the troops over there. Yeah, so.
It's great. It's such a good experience playing for those folks. They appreciate it so much. They're just so glad to see it. And a lot of times I've done it. They go, Now, why are you here? We said, well, we come here to play for you. And they're like, well, why us? We're like, why you? Because y'all are out here, you know, doing it so we don't have to, you know. And they're like, we don't deserve this, you know. We're like, yeah, you do. So it's really a great thing. It ends up being, they go, oh, you guys are great. And we're like, no, you guys are great. Like, no, you're great. No, you're great. But we love it. Everybody, we love doing it. We love getting to play. And it just, I don't know, it's just a great feeling to know that you're supporting them, you know, somehow. And I also seen on those trips, like we went to the Middle East last year, I saw on that trip especially how, you know, when your kids or whatever make up cards or letters or something to send to soldiers and you never know what happens to them. Well, when we went to the Middle East, at every place we stayed, those cards and letters and little drawings that kids send, they're posted everywhere. And the soldiers really, they love it. They eat it up. They're so glad to have anything from home. It's just, it's a great thing to see it firsthand and see the reaction to it.
Well, guys, I can't wait to hear what's coming next.
Yeah. We can't tell you.
But
we can tell you, but then,
I'm going to wrap this up because I know your wife is going to kill you. And I know Thom could probably talk to me another hour.
Yeah, I'll shut up now.
No, you don't have to. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Thom Shepherd, Steve Williams.